Conservatory down here.
Mm-mm.
I was lucky. I got to go to that for a period of time and study under Stuart Kaminsky.
Oh, that's wonderful.
He was awesome. He was just he was awesome talent, an awesome author, novelist, television writer, film writer.
He writes mysteries.
Right, a lot of mysteries and things, and just terrific to know and terrific to work with. When I came back here, he was still in Sarasota, and they had a thing called the Florida Mystery Weekend. And it was all about mystery writers and novelists and so forth. And he and I would bring in the television and the film elements to discuss in panels for writers that were doing basically books, basically novels, to get a perspective on if they wanted those books to turn into film and television. How vast was the gulf? How vast a difference? How much?
Sounds very interesting.
All right, they had to do a lot of adaptation to try and make a book, as you know. When you're writing scripts and screenplays and teleplays, that is an abbreviated format. And that old thing about show, don't tell. Novelists don't want to hear that. They just want to write and write and write. Narrative.
They have the freedom to do that, but with TV and film, you just really got to tighten it up.
Yeah. Short dialogue, and show it all, put it all out there on the screen. So.
Well, you try to think in terms of the camera.
Mm-hmm.
So what can the camera tell? What can the music tell? So some styles of writing or producing will so they're telling you the same thing through the dialogue, through the music, through the camera. I prefer to kind of switch it up so each level tells a different part of the story. So you get it that way.
Otherwise it's redundant.
Right, exactly, yeah.
And sometimes the
but
audience
some people like that too, so,
depends on the viewers.
Anything goes.
Sometimes they like to be hit over the head 3 times.
Exactly.
By the 3rd time. Oh, I get it. That's what they were trying to convey. That was the point. Now, do you plan to write while you're here? Are you still going to write? Or are you looking at...
I don't know. It's kind of what's called in Hollywood, kind of a blue sky moment in my life where I'm open to pretty much anything.
Mm-hmm.
At this point in my life, I'm not sure how much more time I want to spend alone in a room with a computer.
Sure. Have you thought of teaching?
I have thought of teaching. I don't think I could be well, I don't know. I have thought of it.
Like Ringling College, for example, they're digital filmmaking.
Yes,
it's just
a great feeder school.
It is a great feeder school. And back 13 years when we started the film office here, they had brought in Brad Battersby. He came in, I think he came in a year or 2 behind me. He might have been here in 2009. I was in 2007. And they started out with this teeny-weeny little class of a little handful of students. And now they're really going great guns.
They have a huge soundstage.
Yeah, one of the sound stages is dedicated to the students of the digital filmmaking major. And boy, oh boy, the real-world experience that you've got could only enrich them so much. I mean, they get great speakers and they get great visiting teachers. And Brad Battersby he was voted film school mentor of the year by Variety. I think last year or the year before, and he does a great job with them. But they love to get the real voices of working professionals that have done it for a living, because that's really what it's all about. And Brad has done that. Prior to being their head of digital filmmaking, Brad himself was a filmmaker and so on. But you've been out there in the trenches.
Yes, I have.
Yes. So it's not just a matter of, story is everything. Storytelling, the story at the core is everything. Without it, I don't know what you've got. A bunch of explosions and CGI nowadays, but...
Yeah, and sometimes I go for that, but yeah.
It's still got to have a great story in there somewhere.
Yeah, so I'm open to opportunities and sort of seeing what comes in.
Right. And then Ringling also has Ringling College. This is not a running advertisement for Ringling, but they're also doing television programming over there. Lisa Moody runs that division, and they're doing a lot with television content. And some of the high schools, Booker VPA, those kids are making short films. Riverview High School, they make short films. Pineview High School, they make short films. It's really amazing to me how much interest there is in the community.
When you can make movies on your phone, like I think they did that with Tangerine.
Right.
I love that it's become so accessible, and that we're so educated now by our television watching and our movie watching that most people can make a good film. I love it. I love it that it's in the hands of kids and in the hands of, because you can't when I was growing up, you really couldn't get at it unless you could afford a Super 8 or something like that.
How true. That's
Yeah.
true. And now, too, I think the democratization of distribution is amazing. Where it used to be you'd spend so much time creating your screenplay, and you would peddle it around, try and find an agent. And then if you were lucky enough to get an agent, maybe they would help you peddle it around and try and get someone interested in producing it. And then maybe they could get someone from a studio interested. And it seemed like it was such a long, drawn-out process.
It is.
And it still is. I mean, it will be
yes.
forever. But now you've got people uploading full feature-length films that they've made,
Right.
even independents. And they've got distribution channels now around the world that you upload your content. Now, it may be garbage, but you upload it. And if people look at it, see it, buyers go on, they're just looking for a certain genre. They want to pump a station in Czechoslovakia full of vampire movies. They Google vampire movies, or they go to these distribution sites and they look up vampire movies, and they may end up buying or at least optioning or leasing, or however their terminology is for it, all kinds of things that may or may not be good. But the writers and the people who created it are at least getting some return on what they invested in time. I don't know, kind of a wheat and the chaff sort of thing. How do you separate the wheat from the chaff when there's that much out there?
Well, that's sort of the issue. It's the golden age of television. At the same time, there's so much that it's overwhelming, and you never get to see anything. And there was something about, in the time of 6 Feet Under, long ago in the early 2000s, there was something about only being able to see an episode once a week.
Right.
And
the anticipation.
And the water cooler moments the next day.
Yeah.
And so I'm not complaining about it because I'm a huge binge watcher myself. So
Yeah.
But I miss a little from that time.
Sure.
And the way that they shoot and produce things now is much different as well.
Right. And look at the frenzy that Game of Thrones created. Talk about changing the face of television forever. I mean, not only was it outside the traditional distribution studio system to a certain extent, but they only fed that out teensy-weensy little bits at a time. And sometimes you waited, how long between a season ending and the next one starting? Year and a half? One time it was almost 2 years for the next season. People were foaming at the mouth.
Well, that particularly is such a complicated show.
Sure.
They were shooting all over the world, Croatia,
Ireland.
yeah, everywhere.
Everywhere. New Zealand. God.
Yeah, huge show.
Yeah. And huge budget, too.
Yeah.
But it was pretty amazing. And now, of course, it has another whole life in box sales. And they sell the whole series, and people buy them, or
And I
they
think there's a
download
spin-off,
them.
too.
Well,
coming.
they're coming. I haven't seen too much about what's been finalized, if anything. But they have had writers working. They had 3 separate teams of writers last I saw that were writing 3 completely different conceptions of the prequel, because it takes place 300 years before Daenerys and her dragons. Right? It should be interesting. They'll do it again. They'll make us all crazy with it. So
I'm sure.
I remember my husband saying, "Dragons, really? Come on, I'm not watching something with dragons in it." And I went, "Just watch a little bit of the first season and tell me what you think." I was in England, and he got hooked on it, and then he, cursed me for getting him hooked on it. So, well, anyway, if you had a dream project to work on right now, if you've given that any thought, would you like to work on an indie film or a passion project? Maybe if somebody brought it to you and it just tugged at you in a way that struck a chord with you, maybe as a...
Yes, I would really like to write something, and that's part of the reason I came back. Sometimes when you're having to please so many people, you lose your voice. So I would like to write something, if I do write something, completely separate from that. Take it outside, put my head outside of the business completely, and just write what I want to write.
Wow, sounds free and wonderful.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now you can.
Yes.
Well, you'll have to let me know and let the Film Commission know if there's any way we can help you, because that's what we're here for. We cost you nothing, and we can help you find all kinds of things.
Definitely.
Like right now, I'm thinking there's like a handful of women's film projects that are going on around the community with women, that are in that like you, over 35, and they are writing they're writing passion projects. Some of them are comedies, some of them are dramas, some of them are fantasies and fiction. And I want to get all of us together as a group of women and just talk to each other. Share your dreams.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah. Well, count on inviting you along.
Great. Thank you so much.
Well, in the meantime, I think I've used up all our time here. But Nancy, will you come back again and
Of
maybe
course.
we'll talk about your future passion projects?
Okay. Perhaps.
Perhaps. And if we suck you into the vortex of Sarasota County-wide independent filmmaking?
Yeah.
Good. You all heard it. You heard it here first. Nancy's she's gonna keep an ear open just in case something wonderful comes along. Nancy, thanks for being with us.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
And thanks for coming back to Sarasota County. You enrich us with your talent and your presence.
Oh, my.
It's all true. It's all true. You're too modest, but we really love having you here.
Thank you.
And to all of you out there listening, thanks for listening, and stay tuned to entertain you for more great people like the one you heard talk today. It's my privilege to bring them to you. Bye for now. I want to thank you for listening. I'm Jeannie Corcoran, your Sarasota County, Florida Film Commissioner, and if you want to get a hold of me, you can go to www.filmsarasota.com, or you can call us toll-free from wherever you are at 888-765-5777, extension 104. We're easy to get a hold of. And we like email. You can email us at info@filmsarasota.com, and we check all of our email. If you don't hear back from us right away, it's not that we haven't gotten it, but we might have a computer glitch. I hate to admit it, but it happens a lot. We've had emails that disappear for a month. We've had phone messages that disappear for 2 months, but they show up eventually. So we will get a hold of you. Or you can get a hold of us, ask us questions, and if we can help you, we will. And if we can't, maybe we can steer you in a good direction to somebody who will help you. And that's it for me. I'm Jeannie Corcoran, and you've been listening to Entertain You on the Radio Ear Network, and this is the Society Bites network of programs. Thanks for listening. Talk to you again soon.